Hi, I'm Kim.
I'm Brad.
We're 626 Ohana, California, and today we're going to talk about if we're still happy 2 years later buying DVC points.
Yeah, so come along and join us and we'll explain if we're still happy.
And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow along with our Ohana.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so why did we decide to buy into DVC? I think that's always a good idea to start with.
And for us, it was because we were going to Disney World every year, and the costs at this point started making sense for us.
And really, we were staying at moderate resorts, once in a while the deluxe resorts, and those prices were adding up quickly to the point we were stressing out about how much money we were spending every year.
Yeah, and it came down to the point that we saw ourselves going to Disney every year for our vacations, so at this point, it made sense.
So we ended up figuring out that for our direct contract, our first one, we would end up paying that off or breaking even point in 5 to 7 years. So anything after that would just be our dues, which would be a fraction of the price of the cost of our contract.
And as we stated in the buy on direct video, which will be linked down below, is that we bought this contract fully out, and we were lucky to be able to do it at the time.
Just right circumstances, right time, and another time and place in our lives, we may not have been able to do that.
Yeah, and again, it goes into the numbers more into that video.
Okay.
So the other thing that we were looking at was obviously flexibility.
Okay, so the flexibility had a big part to do with my job. Real quick before we get into that, Brad and I still have to social distance at home because I'm an essential worker.
Yeah, so
that's why it looks a little strange.
I'm actually quite a far ways back, so I look a lot farther back.
Okay, so anyways, that flexibility, I had a boss prior that was really horrible about approving vacation time. So I needed that flexibility because I wouldn't get an answer whether it was approved or not until like 2 to 3 months ahead of time. And by then, all the room costs, we'd missed out on all the discounts and dining and everything. And I was always stressed out. And we realized that this was costing us a lot more money because of that.
Yeah, we're making reservations at the last minute. And of course, they think last minute it's going to cost you more.
Especially Disney.
And especially Disney. This gave us an opportunity that we could cancel real close to our date if something went wrong.
31 days out is no impact. 30 days to 7 days is a little more impact. And then the day before is a huge impact. But we knew we'd pretty much always have our answer at least 30 days out. But the other thing is, like I had family members come up to us when they found out we bought DVC. Oh, you're only going to go to Disney for the rest of your life? You're never going to go anywhere else? This is what you've wrapped up everything into? No, it's not. Disney has flexibility.
Yeah, if you're talking flexibility of, this family member is more talking about world cultures, Epcot. Obviously, you have to talk to other people.
Festivals.
But also Disney has a lot of different things with Adventures by Disney, Disney Cruise Line, and RCI. If you want to go somewhere else. So those are not the best use of your points, but they're there.
Yeah, so if one year we're like, you know what, we love going to Disney, but this year maybe we'll take a break and we'll go to Australia, or we want to do Adventures by Disney, then we have that flexibility.
Yeah. And we have actually talked to people that have bought Disney only for RCI because of the flexibility that Disney has. And also we know people who bought it and they just use their points on Disney Cruise Line.
Not the best use of points.
But that makes their families happy, and they're happy they did that.
Right. And then the other thing is, for us, I really looked at the fact that besides the point when we pay off and we just have the dues, is when we retire, we're not going to have to worry about travel expenses unless it's airfare.
Yeah, and so that gives
food.
us, again, to why we bought
Tickets.
Disney, is that we could see us using it after Hayden's not going to Disney with us anymore.
Shh. What are you talking about?
By going to see the wine festivals if he's in college.
Food and wine.
We get
Festival of Arts.
We get to be adult Disney.
What's that?
I don't know. We haven't learned that one yet. Maybe one day we'll learn.
I'm not looking forward to that, okay? Just to be, because we love having Caden with us. But yes, could we do a couples only for food and wine 1 year? Yeah, Brad and I could completely see ourselves doing that.
And that'd be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we love about it, talking about family, is the space that we get.
Yes.
Now, we bought at the Poly, and we were aware of the studios, what space they have, but they still have a refrigerator. They have a small microwave.
Well, they have that 1.5 bath. So you have a shower in one bathroom with a sink, and the other one has the shower, bathtub, sink, toilet. So 2 people can get ready at one time, which is nice.
Awesome. And these are bigger rooms than what you get for a traditional regular Disney room.
We'll link the room tour for the Poly down below.
Yeah, and so look at those rooms and definitely see the difference between a standard room and what a Disney DVC room is. we've come to really appreciate having laundry on site that we
Yes.
don't pay for. Well, we pay
It's a
through
perk.
our dues.
And it comes with laundry soap.
Yeah,
But except for the poly, you have to go you have to bring your own laundry soap, and you go to another you have to walk outside like a traditional hotel, but you don't have to pay for the laundry.
They have a facility. It's Poly's a little bit different, but
Yeah.
a lot of them have them in the rooms. It's just a convenience. It's
So
nice
one
having-
bedroom and above have laundry.
Yeah. So that's just one thing. Another great thing that they have. And again, with the
Yes.
kitchens for us, that we reheat. We'll buy pastries at night and have them in the morning
Yeah.
for our breakfast because we stay in California time when we go traveling. So our times for meals are a little off.
But it's nice to be able to keep things cold and have a regular fridge, keep a gallon of milk, things like that.
Absolutely. And
It's
there's
nice.
families we've talked to that do full meals and appreciate the savings of being able to cook in the room.
And then there's space, which is for
yes.
luggage, for putting things away. It's bigger than a traditional room at Disney, so it is nice to have that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of extra space. It's just great to have.
We're not tripping all over each other, and I guess I'll say we're not tripping over my luggage.
Your luggage. How many bags did you take last time?
We won't talk about that. So last year, because we had points from the year that we bought that we banked into the next year on both contracts, we had a super amount of points last summer, and we were able to take my whole family with us.
Yes.
So my brother and sister-in-law, their kids, my mom, and then the three of us.
So that was a great thing. That was a once in a lifetime trip that we got to do. We had 3 rooms at the Poly.
Not the best use of points because it was 3 rooms.
And if we were, truth be
Studios.
told, we would rather have gone to, was it Saratoga Springs that had the 3-bedroom?
Yeah, or into Animal Kingdom, but just because it's one of these things that my brother with 3 kids, it would have been hard for him to do. We gave him the choice of where they want to stay.
And they really wanted to stay at the
Yeah.
Poly. So it gave us that flexibility and that awesome trip that I don't think that we would be able to do any other way.
Exactly.
So again, it's like we said, we return every year. We knew we were going to
Yes.
return every year. We know we're going to return every year. Well,
Yes, for the most part,
Or-
unless we decide to bank
unless something
1 year.
happens, but can happen, but
Yes.
we're not foreseeing that.
No. And the nice thing it gave us was longer trips. So that's been kind of nice because it
Yeah.
takes a lot of stress off of us.
Yeah, it allows us to explore more. It allows us to plan out our days, and the master planner over here usually has everything down to the minute. But
Oh,
it's
no, you're
given
talking
her
about-
the opportunity to also, hey, let's do a Disney Springs Day. Hey, let's go over to the campgrounds and go check out Chip and Dale's Campfire Sing Along and the movie, which
Yeah.
we'll link down below, which is a great time.
Right. So we are getting to explore the different resorts and the activities, and we love it. And then the nice part is when they've had refurbs or new rides opening, we don't have to worry about, oh, we will have to plan around this year because of everything that's going on, what's happening. No, we're always coming back. No big deal. We're good. We're golden.
Yep, so that's a great thing. So, you get those longer trips if you really want it.
Yes.
And another thing that's been an advantage for us, being so close to Disneyland, that we can take the day, go, you know what? Let's see if we can get a room at the Grand Californian and spend the night and have a nice long day or 2 at
Yeah.
Disneyland without being so exhausted to trying to drive back home, and maybe have an adult beverage, may I say?
Yeah, maybe go over to Disneyland Hotel, check out Trader Sam's, just maybe enjoy the resorts and take a break and just kind of have a more relaxed time in Disneyland, which
Yeah.
we love.
So that's a great advantage for us being in Southern California. They're
Yeah.
so close.
Or during Mickey's Oogie Boogie's bash out here is being able to spend the night instead of worrying about, oh, now we gotta drive home and we're exhausted.
Yeah, and of course, this doesn't always work when they have new attractions like Galaxy's Edge opening.
Couldn't get
We
anything.
couldn't get anything. We tried. But for the most part, we have been able to, if we wanted to, get into
Yeah.
the Grand California if we needed to.
And the other thing that we looked at was extras.
Yeah, so this is from buying direct, and just to
Mm-hmm.
be aware, if you buy your contract direct, there's differences. But this direct gives us access to the Epcot Lounge above Imagine.
In the Imagination Pavilion.
Thank you.
Which is really nice to get out of the sun, out of the rain, a place to charge your cell phones while they have one of those, what are they called? The Coca-Cola
They have the where you can make your own flavors of Coke. They're the several multiple Cokes, which
flavors, and when you, yeah.
You get snacks. It's great, and that also we've talked to several members while we're sitting waiting for the rain to stop in Florida.
We love
Who knew?
talking to DVC members because they always have such fun stories, unique experiences, And it's a passion that we all share.
Yeah, and also you learn a lot from
Yeah.
different people from when you talk about what they're doing with their contracts, different things that they've learned, and that's really great stuff to learn. No.
Yeah, it is. And then you look into Top of the World Lounge at the Contemporary. We did that once. We had a drink, watched the fireworks at Magic Kingdom, and it was a really nice, relaxing evening. And
Yeah.
it's a really nice environment up there.
Yes.
So we liked it. And then also, of course, subject to change, especially this year, is Moonlight Magic. We've gone to several of those events and we love them.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. We try to usually do them once a year, one here at Disneyland, and we're usually pretty successful at doing that.
Yes.
And then we try when we go to Disney World to at least have one while we're there.
Now, the nice part when being from Southern California with Disneyland, I've been able to take friends that can't afford to go on day passes and things like that, take them with us, and they get something to eat, go on the rides for a few hours. So it's been really nice to be able to bring friends with us, because it's usually in the middle of the week. So Hayden has school, so he stays with my parents and we go and hang out at Disney.
Yeah, Kim's actually had somebody call her, go, hey, are you guys doing that this year? Just trying to check. Okay, so this leads us into things that we wish we
Yes.
know, and that deals with the extras that we bought direct.
So we didn't put Brad's name on the contract. We didn't think it was that big of a deal, and that I'd always just make the reservations. And we were under time constraints because we had a reservation at Copper Creek during Marathon a few months later, and that just kind of really we had to close it to make everything work and line up with those dates. And that was a problem.
Yeah, it was a certain date, and unfortunately Hayden had baseball, he had a lot of different things going on, so we just figured she would go, and I would stay behind, not a big deal, right?
Wrong.
So,
And the reason why is because of the lounges. We don't get 2 cards to get double the amount of people to come with us.
yeah, so it's one of those things to be aware of. Make sure you have everybody there when you're signing papers, because that's one thing we wish we had known, because it gives the 2 people on the title access to those lounges. So I don't have to be there. Kim doesn't have to be there every time if Hayden and I decide, hey, we're just going to run up there real quick.
So I always have to make sure I have the day off from work from the day that we have to book a room. I can't say, Brad, I need you to call in. Can you do this? They can't do that.
It makes it a lot
I mean, I can give them my password and stuff online, but if there's any snags along the way, then I have to call it myself.
Yeah, and on our second contract, to be clear, that we did do that, make sure my name was
Yes.
on it. So our second contract is with our name on it. It's just to take a considerable amount of time to change the other one, which
Right.
we just haven't been able to do yet.
So the other thing that we wanted to say is to research. You always want to research however you want to buy and what works. And we have all of our videos linked down below about buying direct, buying resell, buying direct versus resell,
And even
and
though
our
those-
room tours.
Yeah, and even some of those those videos may be a little over a year old, they are still relevant information.
Yes, absolutely.
And again, it's like I'll repeat it in those videos several times. Do the math before buying and do your research.
And everything is subject to change.
Yes.
Because Disney loves to throw in, after we made those videos is when Disney on the resale market said that if they were to put Riviera on a resale market, you could only stay at Riviera. And if you bought at one of the 14 original resorts, you can only stay at the 14 original resorts. You can't stay at the Riviera.
So definitely do your research.
That's the
and,
update.
Yeah.
So resale market, when we bought, it was during the fall, and we wanted to book for the next summer. So we knew that we wanted to try to get that advantage at the closer to the 11-month mark than the 7-month mark.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you buy resale, and again, there's another thing to look at, is it takes longer than buying
Mm-hmm.
direct. So you would need to plan on at least over a month, because Disney has up to a month to say, we're going to buy this back.
It's called first right of refusal.
Or no, we're not going to buy it back. I think in total it took us 2 months.
It did a little over 2 months, and I think I only got released to get into the resorts a day before it opened up to everybody else at the 7-month mark. And it made things 10 times more stressful and time crunched, and it was rough.
Yeah, and so it's something to just be aware of.
Yeah. And then also when we bought resell, look at those contracts, because they're going to tell you how many points are left for that you can currently use this year and then into next year. Some of them put that back on and they're completely depleted.
Yeah, so you won't be able to use your contract basically for 2 more years.
2 to 3 years.
Afterwards, because all the points have been used. And they said, well, let's do a massive family trip, like we talked the benefits are, but we're going to sell after everything's gone. And then they sell, And really, the dollar per difference is not that big.
No. You're pretty much, and then depending on what the contract says, are you paying for the maintenance fees, the dues that year, or are they, and they've already used it?
Yeah. So it's something.
So you could be paying for their family trip.
Yeah. So just something. Yeah. We were lucky and we known that, and so that was kind of a great thing. This goes into the tips of what DVC that we have that. Yeah. We've learned.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you real quick to piggyback on that is we're coming up within when we started the process of buying our resale, it was 2 weeks before they had to be banked, and then it was going to go into, we would have lost those points. So we were able to talk with our person that through our agent and request they bank those into next year. And they agreed to do it, which was great because we also found out later that once you get into that contract, kind of that limbo in between first right of refusal Disney, until it changes hands, you cannot make any vacations, you can't bank, borrow, anything like that. Everything freezes. So had we gotten into the point of afterwards asking to bank, they couldn't have, and we would have lost those points. Just be research. That's the theme of this.
Yeah, so this is what gets into our tips. It's obviously you want to do all this research, but research your use years. If you have another contract, you want those use years to line up.
Yeah, you don't want to be going, okay, is this March or May, and I've got 2 contracts, when's my deadline to bank, and when do I get my new points? Like, it's too confusing.
If they're on the same use year, it just makes it super simple. Yeah. It makes it easier for you to remember.
Yes.
So it's one of those things to be aware of.
And this year I'm actually learning a new tip is because of all the closures, is that have your use year close to when you're going to travel or that banking deadline, and you're not able to bank and everything gets canceled for one reason or another, then that makes a harder time. Like our banking deadlines in October, we usually travel in the summer. So something happened to those summer trips, I still have time to bank afterwards and don't have to stress out about anything.
So also talking about everything that's going on, if you really want value and don't care about all the perks of buying direct, buy used. Right now, the used market we're seeing is, for some of our contracts are holding, but some of them are actually dropping.
Yeah, I've been watching the resale market and it is dropping. I understand that's a hardship for some people, but if those drop too much more in some of those resorts, I may consider.
Yeah, but to be clear, they're not dropping a whole lot, but they are dropping enough to make it considerable.
Yes, so just keep an eye on the resale markets. There's a lot of contracts out there. There's a lot of activity. And if you're still working and able to, maybe an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And that's being also where the resale rules, which Kim went over a little bit ago about the original 14, if you buy an older one, or if you buy the Riviera, it's only at the Riviera.
Now, the other tip is once you start buying, sometimes we get in this little thing called add-on-itis is where you can't get enough points. I frequently suffer.
Yeah, you do. But no, we have...
don't ever say no.
We have considered it, to be truthful.
We have. We almost did in last May.
But it came down to that we already have a loan on one of our other contracts that we took a small loan on just because at the time we had that huge family trip coming.
I came about this close, and then Brad got seasick when we were on our cruise when we almost bought. We were that close to being Copper Creek owners.
But it came down to the point was that I looked at it and I go, at the time it just didn't make financial sense for us to do.
And probably it was the right decision at that time.
And gave us an opportunity that with the new resorts opening at Disneyland was it Reflections?
Reflections. And both of those oh my goodness, I don't know how we decide because both of them look really awesome.
And so it gives us the flexibility of what we've always said, and one thing you really need, make sure you buy where you're going to be happy to stay.
Especially now because when there's more points and this time and closure, there is going to be an impact of maybe you're only going to be able to stay in the future at your home resort for a year or two or whenever this all gets settled out.
Yeah, and we've been extremely happy with the Poly. And there's no question. We knew when we bought the Poly, we stayed in DVC rooms before, that we were going to just be happy no matter what at the Poly.
Yes.
Our Animal Kingdom, I love the Animal Kingdom. I love our room that we had there walking up Savannah Food.
We love everything but
the bus rides.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we didn't stay there before we bought. And it was just a time deal that was a really good point deal for us. It had a fully loaded contract, use year matched up, and the price was right.
Yes.
That's the reason we bought. Now, would we do it today if we had a little bit more flexibility?
Maybe not.
We maybe looked at the beach club or something like that.
Yeah, we really liked the beach club. We fell in love with it when we stayed our last trip.
So be aware of where you want to stay. Make sure that you're going to be safe.
And it's not saying that we don't like Animal Kingdom, because like we said, we loved our room. We loved waking up and watching the animals.
The space in those rooms are enormous. It's just the buses.
Just the buses. That's the only thing. The only thing is we stayed at Kidani Village, and there wasn't really a quick service without going over to Jumbo House.
Yeah. So
that was something to consider too. And it seemed like there was limited hours to get the refillable mugs in the gift shop.
There were small things there, but it's just, be happy where you want to stay and do that research. And another thing is if you're buying direct at Disney, don't fall in love at Disney and say, I'm going to sign the contract, because that's where most of the buyer's remorse comes from.
There's remorse?
Yeah. Well, you hear people like, oh, I'm so excited. I was in that Disney zone and I bought a contract and I don't really want it. This is where I'd say do your research.
I can't relate to that one.
Do your research. You don't have to buy right out Disney. Or if you're really thinking about buying DVC, do your research beforehand. Take all the perks you get from doing the tours, the fast passes and everything else. Absolutely.
And if you're at Disney World, they give you ice cream.
Yeah. So take all those perks, but don't feel pressured to have to buy right away without doing any of the research. It's just the most important thing.
Right, because we really considered Copper Creek. We even did another tour when we were at Disneyland and got the fast passes, the whole thing. But we just realized in time that we need to take a step back and pay off our other contract and reconsider in the future.
So those are the things we've learned, new tips, things we've known, and 2-year update. Overall, we're extremely happy with our purchase. We're happy. Our family gets to do a lot more, and we haven't found a whole lot of negatives.
Right. We're not budgeting the same way because of that loan. Yes, we're going to pay a little bit more than if we'd paid outright. It's a better deal if you can pay all up front.
Yes.
But in the long run, the deal is better than paying year to year for the amount of time that we were going, because we were able to stay longer.
Yeah. And the only thing we're really paying is our dues and fees that do change every year. Just be aware of that as well. But other than that, we are extremely happy. It's given us a lot more financial flexibility to go when we go to Disney World to have more fun.
And then we also get discounts on, like, we went on a after hours Magic Kingdom and we saved $40 per person per ticket for that one night.
The discounts are there.
Yeah. And annual passes, some people get discounts. Yeah. Things like that.
With that, I think it's time for us to say goodbye and
find your magic.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.